Welcome to This Week in Anderson High School Athletics here in East P Media, powered by Sidearm Sports. I'm Jason Griefer, and we're back with the boys once again. Anderson Athletic Director Chris Newton, Assistant AD Zach McCormick, who is in a different spot here today. We had a little fun with that before we started recording, to say the least. But we finally got him connected. Newt, what is he? Is he a lost cause?
He's following in the footsteps of me pretty well. Yeah, he is what do you call those? A boat without a rudder, or I don't know, a boat without a sail. I don't know what's up with him.
Yeah,
I love it. It kind of brings a tear to my eye.
A couple sandwiches short of a full picnic basket. I mean, there's a lot of different things, but at least he's here. At least he's here, and we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and let's go ahead and jump right into it. Of course, last week we talked about one of the big events that always every year at Anderson, and that's the win the day event. Able to get that in just fine over the weekend, and Newt, take us through the event, how it ran, how it was pulled off execution wise for your staff, and secondly, how did your student athletes look?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And again, we've talked about it, and, as we got closer and closer, but you talk about a total team effort to make something happen. And there were people from everywhere, Dublin, Kaufman, Jerome, Scioto, Sheridan, Chardon. Everybody was so appreciative of us having it, and more importantly, appreciative of allowing fans. Because in these gymnastics meets, a lot of times fans are not allowed. So, but it was, people really don't understand what a production it is and how a whole team has to come about it. A big semi shows up at 3:15 on Friday. Our football team and our custodians were ready to go. So we have to not only, get it off the truck, we have to set it up. And Chip, this guy from Midwest Gym Supply, Chip, he's the best one we've ever had. He was awesome. So we get everything set up. It's probably about 6:30. And then the gymnasts get to mess around on it a little bit. And then it's showtime. And from, like I told you, Patty Sneed, figuring out how to do the tickets. I still don't understand how in the world she was able to branch all those off to all the people just to make sure we did not exceed our capacity. And Zach getting in touch with all the schools and all the coaches. So we did our first couple sessions. We got great custodians, Sam here, and Stanley, and our two trainers, April and Brittany, were here all day. They helped me with cleaning of everything, making sure all the apparatuses were squirted down, all the bleachers were squirted down before fans could come in there. And it ran from 8 o'clock till 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I got to tell you, it was the smoothest one that we have had. Then it all gets cleaned up Sunday morning, and that's from our baseball team showing up Sunday morning to help at 8 a.m. to help put everything away. And it packed and moved on. And it was awesome. But, in between all those things, our girls were incredible. Our two senior night, we were able to celebrate those. Abby Pitts and Maddie Bailey were awesome out on the floor. Again, Abby Pitts, a senior. This is her first year. She just continues to unveil new tricks out on the floor and in the vault. And it is really cool watching her compete. And then, Maddie Bailey. She's been this way. She's been awesome since her freshman year. And so she broke out a new bars routine. So that was pretty cool. Maddie Belcourt did a full back flip. And I've got to tweet. She did a full back flip on the bounce beam. And I'm still not sure exactly how she did it. But all of our kids were awesome. I believe we finished the highest we've ever finished. We finished in second place in the entire, all day. There's 30 teams there. We finished in second place. And again, we got hammers there. So it was a flat out awesome day. Awesome day.
Zach, what's the atmosphere in and around the athletics department, and as well as the programs as well, when you're able to not only pull off this event safely and logistically make it happen, but then see the team go out and do what they did, as Newt said, finishing second out of 30 teams right there. I have to imagine that gives the entire, if not the athletic department, the entire school a big shot in the arm, does it not?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anytime that this is one of the biggest events that we have, and I mean, something that's so special because our gymnasts are always off campus, and then for them to be able to come and perform. Unfortunately, this year we weren't able to have the spectators that we were last year, but normally we'll have some of our other athletic teams come in and watch all the girls. So it's always awesome when you can go out and actually put together everything. Like it all comes together, and you do well, and you see some success. So I'm just super proud of those girls and happy for them, especially Maddie Bailey. I mean, being a senior, and I know she's dealt with a lot of stuff, but she continues to persevere. And I mean, she's had injuries ever since I've known her pretty much, and she still continues to go out there, never complains, and I mean, just flat out gets it done. So it's awesome to see the success of those girls.
Four-legged creature, give their approval of Maddie Bailey's career there. As Zach's joining us from home here today, so the pup there wanting to chime in. And
the assistant to the assistant AD.
Ah, okay.
We're bringing in some brains of the operation for Zach and I.
Hey, I'm sorry, boys. We got
no, you're good.
We're getting some new toilets installed today.
All right.
Oh, wow. All right.
So we got some guys here, and our four-legged kid is going nuts.
We're making friends. That's what we do here at Anderson and here on the podcast. We make friends. We're one big community. As we said, AHS is family. That doesn't mean it's only extends to people. Dogs are part of that too.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
That's as simple as that, folks. So yeah, the pups wanting to say hi. That's all. That's all it is today. No judgment being passed. Elliot Evil, please save the tape of this. Let's move on and let's talk about your academic quiz team now. Still in a tie for Loveland. No longer in a tie for fourth, but now they're in a tie for third with Loveland, and you're going to host Loveland this week. So a pretty big deal there, and a chance to put them behind you and being at least third all by yourselves there. So look at how coming into this week, easily beat West Clermont this past week to pick up a couple of more wins. And so now we're starting to get the ball rolling. Of course, now you want to root for West Clermont because they're taking on second place Walnut Hills this week. So if West Clermont pulls the upset, you take care of business against Loveland, you're right there in a tie for second. So we're now about a month away from the ECC tournament, and we've talked before in other sports about trying to peak at the right time. You always want to be at your best, heading into postseason. That way, when the postseason starts, you're right there and ready to go in tip-top form. How does the academic quiz team go about doing that to try to make sure that as the postseason nears, their games continue to get better and better and better, so that when the tournament does arrive, they're firing on all cylinders?
Well, I think the big thing there is, is just repetition, and just like in every other sport, practice sometimes can get boring, and because you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. But it's that repetition that drives, that drives everything in. And in this sport, what you're doing that first week, that can pop up week 11, week 12, just like in every other sport. And that's, so, I mean, some people don't understand, and, it's not, we're not running around in AQT. We're not, throwing balls, and we're not doing all that stuff, but it's still, it's treated just like it in the preparation that Greg Long takes with our kids. And, they train, they practice, they work just like every other team. And I think that's the big thing that Greg does a great job with these kids. And we got some youngins now, but it's the repetition. This is how you do it, and this is the correct way to do it. Now, if you can continue to repeat it week after week after week at practice and take that into the matches, then good things are going to happen. And, like I've told you, we got great leadership. Sammy and Maggie provide great leadership, and Greg Long, Greg's that guy. He's been there and done that, and the kids can easily believe in him. And it's just exciting that where these kids can go, and we're going to see what, like you said, Thursdays or Wednesday's a big one. We host Loveland, and we have a good one there, and can propel us into the end of the season. And then the ECC tournament, that is always a blast. For those that don't know it, I mean, it's a survive and advance. It's a March Madness, and it's really cool.
Zach, when we get into the ECC tournament, just as a kind of a long distance preview, how much tougher do the questions get inside the postseason? I know we had a lot of fun last week talking about, all three of our abilities or lack thereof to answer the questions here. We're still yearning for the sports category, of course. But when it moves into the postseason, how much more difficult do the questions get?
I mean, I'm not sure for me how much more difficult they can get, to be honest. So, I mean, for me, they're just all the extremely hard questions. But I'm sure they get a little bit harder in the postseason. But I mean, Greg Long and our leaders are going to do a great job of continuing to prepare for all that. So they're gonna study their tails off, and they're going to be ready to take down some of those hard questions when I just try and comprehend what is even being talked about.
Well, the one thing I will say that I'm going to turn to you if we have questions in categories regarding canine management and also plumbing. So
hey, no doubt.
Be on the ready. Let's move
on.
Let's
installment.
Yeah.
He's all over.
Yeah, exactly. He's all over it. So
I want you to show me, Jason, another podcast, AD podcast, where you talk about toilet installment.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't get it like you get it here, man.
No, folks, this is the utmost quality right here.
Scheduled the meeting at the perfect time. There was no way I was installing that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you're welcome then. Funny how that works out. Let's move on here. I could go down a whole other avenue, and I don't want to go down that avenue right now with some of the that type of humor. Let's just say that. Let's move on. Let's talk about wrestling. Zach, I'll start with you. Pretty exciting stuff going on this past week. We talked last week. A scheduled match against West Claremont. What's going on since we last talked? What do we see there, and what are we looking forward to this coming week with the wrestling team?
Yeah, man. So we had a big week last week as well, and it gets even bigger this week. So, like I said, we talked about last week. We're super excited to have a home meet. So Thursday we'll be having a home wrestling meet at 5:00 against Loveland and Western Brown. So we'll have that, and then they go to Oak Hills on Friday. So we have a huge week ahead, and it's just one of those fun weeks because you get to see your kids at home, and you get to see some new faces kind of pop in and see them all with your family members. But it's just nice to see all the parents and the people that mean a lot to these kids go out and support them, and especially do it at home. So we'll be looking for big things from all the guys that we continue to talk about, and I'm sure we'll see kids get twisted up in a lot of different things, and hopefully we're on the good side of that.
Newt, does it give the student athletes, and in particular, I guess the wrestlers here, kind of an added jolt knowing that they're actually, can have parents there to watch them, and it's not something they can necessarily take for granted as they may have been able to do in years past, especially and also to have it at home?
Without a doubt. And again, we've participated in some events this year that parents weren't allowed to go, so no spectators were at. And, you like to think that you can get fired up and get that energy in there, but without anybody around. But it is incredibly helpful when somebody's there, screaming and shouting in your ear. And so it is a huge boost to these kids. And this is a great group. We were at Moeller on Friday, Sycamore and Princeton on Saturday, and our kids are going out and they're busting their tail ends. I was down in the weight room with them yesterday, and I got to tell you what, it's a group that gets along great. Yeah, it's a group that gets along great for these kids, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to see them get after it. in a different perspective than just being rolling around on the mats. And coach does a good job of breaking things up with that. But they're going to be excited. And this is a big week. Like Zach said, Western Brown and Loveland, those are two very, very well-known wrestling schools. And then, you celebrate by the day after by going against them. You celebrate by going to Oak Hills, who's another great wrestling school. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to challenge our kids. We've got the kids that deserve to go wrestle the best. And so that's what we're going to go do. And it'll be fun, but we're moving on. I mean, it's getting near tournament time for them too. It's amazing. So we're just rounding the form and we're excited to hoot and holler for them. That's for sure.
And we'll be certainly looking forward to some of the clips on social media of the hoot and holler. And of course, from a safe distance, number one for protocols, and number two, you don't want to hoot and holler at the wrong time and then have McLean Morency, get angry. You wouldn't like him when he's angry. No. that whole thing.
Not at all.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's talk about your swim teams. And we talked last week about how, numbers were we were a little shorthanded going into the ECC championships. Diving team represented well, swim team, again, shorthanded there. So not quite at full strength. And so the postseason's coming up for them. Sectionals not in the too far distance off there. Have they been able to get back into the pool and resume some kind of normal training routine ahead of the sectionals?
Oh yeah. So we actually competed over on Bartels Road this weekend. Our dive, we have one senior diver, Kendall Peoples. So we had our senior night, Kendall Peoples on Friday, and then Jess Swaney and Olivia Walsh on Saturday. So we got to get back in the water there and get after it. And I talked to our coach yesterday, and they're in good spirits and getting ready to go. And yeah, we've got, what is it? The next Friday, the 12th and the 13th is our sectional swimming. And on Wednesday, the 10th is our sectional diving. So, swimming is weird because, that's where you start to do the, and gosh darn, the name that he does, that they say.
Taper.
Huh?
What is it? Taper?
Yeah. That's how we work good together. Like I tell people I have half a brain and Zach has half a brain. So when my half isn't working, Zach's is. That's called a good team right there. So they start tapering, here coming up. And that's when you really see how good these kids are, because some people taper early, some people taper, for the districts and for the state. And we got some kids that, are going to continue to work hard right now. And you're not going to see their best times for still a couple, 2 to 3 weeks.
Zach, we talked last year a lot about Grace Hastings, and she eventually goes on and wins a state championship. And so I'm wondering with this group here, given what they've had to go through and, not at times, as we talked about, not being at full strength, for the ECC championships, are there expectations that you can get one or more divers, beyond sectionals, even beyond the districts with this group?
I mean, you hope so. I mean, and this is the craziest year ever, because you don't just have to have the talent to be able to advance. You have to be able to get there. You have to be able to, kind of be smart and make sure that you're doing the right things outside of the pool that will make sure that it allows you to be in the pool during those times. So for me, my biggest thing is just, these kids deserve it. And I hope and pray that all the kids are able to get there and be able to swim and not be quarantined or deal with any of the COVID stuff for a little bit, and just go out there and be able to get in the pool and get in the water in the postseason during all these times, because these are some of the funnest times for these kids. And it'd be a bummer to see any of them miss it, especially some of because I know there's a bunch of studs out there. And you want to beat the best to be the best. And you sure want to see all those kids in the pool for sure.
Zach, how important was this meet with Bartels Road this past weekend, just to get back into the pool and see some outside competition in preparation for the sectional?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. Anytime you can get in the water, and then you can, I mean, and swimming is kind of weird because you're also you mainly swim against yourself. You swim against the timer. So I mean, the competition's awesome, especially because kind of get your adrenaline going a little bit. It's Turpin, so it's right there. But anytime you get in the pool and get the timer there and all the official people there, it's always good. And to get kind of into a groove near the end, right after being off a break a little bit, it's good to get them back in the water and kind of get things rolling and get a little bit of normalcy back to them.
Let's change gears and let's move on to the hardwood. And let's first talk about your girls basketball team. Finally able to get back onto the court on Monday night, and hung pretty tough with West Clermont throughout. The second quarter kind of was the difference in that one. West Clermont gets the win there 58-40. But still, as we talked about here, this program has just had, if they haven't had bad luck, they've had no luck this season. Given that it's such a young team, not that that's necessarily bad luck, you just lost a lot of talented seniors, but the fact it's been so many starts and stops to this season. Still, to hang in there with West Clermont, they're not a bad team in the ECC. Newt, how did you think the girls looked coming off the layoff? And what did the coaches think?
Oh, I'm telling you, and again, as you mentioned, we lost 58-40. And so you think, oh gosh, darn it. I'm telling you what, I was so excited leaving that gym. Here's how my day started with them. I'm walking up the bleachers and I have two parents going, Newt, who are all these girls? I had no idea we had this many girls on our team. We finally, it's what, February 1st, and we had almost everybody dressed and playing last night. It was great to see. We have not had a full team yet because of not only just because of COVID situations, but because of injury situations. And so it was great to see. But our JVs, we had girls that for the first time were stepping on the court. We had a girl, Anna Gilming, I was talking to afterwards. She made an incredible running one-handed catch and a layup from a great pass from Izzy Lanham that hasn't happened all year. And here this girl finally gets an opportunity and she's impressing. It was awesome. And so our JV girls did great. And then we go to the varsity game, and you're right. They haven't done anything for 2 weeks, and they're getting out there, and obviously they're going to be a little winded at times. And West Clermont is an incredibly strong team that pressures you, the whole length of the court. And so you're in for a battle there. And we did the same thing. And coach now has numbers where he can run girls in and out. And so, the end result was not what we wanted, but I got to tell you what, as I had one person come up to me and say, well, there's no doubt your girls play from the opening tip off to the final buzzer. And that's what is so awesome to see. These kids bust their tail in, and it's awesome to cheer for, because sometimes when adversity strikes, some kids like to crawl up in a shell, and not these girls. They go at it. So it's awesome to see.
Well, and you look at the way things break down in the game, turnovers wind up being the big difference. It's hard to win when you turn it over 25 times. However, your defense holds West Clermont to just 36% shooting. So, that combined with the fact that you're getting healthy bodies back, heading into the season, at least there are building blocks there. And as we've talked about, it's a very, very young team. Zach, let me switch over to you here. On top of getting back into the swing of things, as far as the regular season goes, we now also know the postseason draw. The sectional draw was announced, and your team was done no favors once again, as they draw Loveland to begin the sectional draw. That's going to come on February 13th. Of course, Loveland's at the top of the league right now. They play Lebanon this week, which will likely decide the league title there. So pretty tough there draw for your team to start off the state tournament there. What do the coaches make of the draw when it was unveiled?
It's just another game. It's a game that we're going to have to attack. We've been the underdogs all year, and our record unfortunately shows that. But I think we've gotten a ton better. And no matter who we were going to play, we knew that we were going to play one of those top tier teams. but no matter who we play, we're going to go out there and we're going to try and improve just like we have been all year. And Loveland and they're a determined group. So I mean they're good, and I would love to see the Lebanon and Loveland game this week because that's going to be a good one. But yeah, the tournament draw is it's a bummer to be honest, just because I mean Loveland's loaded, but it's a challenge that we're going to accept, and we're going to go out there. Hey man, it's not over till it's over. So we're going to go out there, give it our best, and hopefully, shock some people.
Newt, over on the boys' side, let me kind of set the stage here for what we're going to talk about here. Last week we talked about how it was this past week was going to be kind of a make or break week. Mm-hmm. With the big game against Bartels Road, and then you have the road game against Lebanon. Really could kind of set you up. You win those games, you're right there for a league title. And like I said, we called it a make or break week, and unfortunately, things essentially broke for your team there. Bartels Road gets you pretty good, winning that game by 21. You go on the road next to Lebanon this past Friday. Really, really tight game back and forth there. There was not much of a scoring differential in any quarter right there, but Lebanon comes on top with a 6-point win. And then on Sunday, you go out of conference and really have it taken to you by McNick. So it's a tough stretch that they're coming off of going into this week. And this week doesn't get any easier. Game after game after game. We've got road trips slated for Winton Woods, slated for tonight, Tuesday night. Milford, you got a home game slated against Kings on Friday, and then a trip to Bartels Road on Saturday. This is a loaded couple of weeks right here. Let's start talking about where we are right now. What's the mood around the team after a really, really difficult last 5 days?
Yeah, well, first of all, who's the dummy making this schedule? That's for sure. So guess I just need to look in a mirror and figure that one out. But no, it's we went out and played Bartels Road and they took it to us. And I got to tell you what, they've got a very good squad and they capitalized on everything. And they played a very nice game and quite honestly, they whooped us. We go out to Lebanon, who I think is an exceptional squad as well. And we probably played one of our best games. I was so proud of the way we fought, and we were down, we came back, and and it just didn't work out for us. And the AD schedules a Sunday matinee game, which was, by the way, it was an awesome day. They retired longtime coach Jerry Durger. They renamed the floor after him. And so that was an awesome thing. They did a great job. Drew Schmidt and the crew out there at McNick. It was really fun and neat to be a part of. And they played with a ton of energy. And quite honestly, we didn't. And so that was disappointing. But, from talking to the kids yesterday, we got to get right back at it. And we're going to go to Winton Woods tonight. We're going to go to Milford. Tomorrow we're going to host Kings, and we can if we play well, we can win those games, and then we're going to go see how much we've learned about ourselves and how much we've improved in a week and a half when we travel over to Bartels Road. And the great thing about Frank Brandy is he's not looking to Saturday down the road. He knows, and I believe our kids will understand we got to take care of today. When today's over, we got to take care of Wednesday. When Wednesday's over, we got to take care of Friday. And then let's see where we are and what we've learned. Because, losing stinks. There's no doubt about it. But you can learn some very valuable things. And after that game Tuesday, we did learn some very valuable things about our squad, I believe. And we'll see at the end of the week. We're going to put that together and see how things shake down.
Zach, I'm going to ask you to put your player hat back on. You're not that far removed from your playing days in high school level and in this league. Being a graduate from Bartels Road. Take us through the mindset of a player right now when you're going into a week that seemingly can set you up for a league championship, and you don't get the job done. You come up short. You lose big to a rival. That type of thing. The next game out, grinder type of game, you come up short, and then the very next day you come out and you get handled once again. How tough is that to kind of mentally bounce back from as a player, and how do you expect your team right now to be able to do that?
I think it's incredibly tough. I mean, anytime that, you're so hyped up for a rival game on Tuesday, doesn't go the way that you want. And then we have another tough one on Friday that you play well and your morale can be kind of high at times. And then you kind of lose that one. And then Sunday, when you just get kind of, they just took it to us in every level. And that's tough, but it can do two things to you. It can either make you or break you. And our kids, I think we have a good group of leaders that are tough, tough-nosed kids. And anytime you get beat like that, you kind of got to take it personal. Like you don't ever want to get beat like that, especially by somebody in your own neighborhood, So with our kids, though, there's no doubt that we're going to bounce back and we're going to be tough and control the things that we can control, which are defense and your effort and your attitude. So those are things that need to be brought every night, regardless of who you're playing. So, tonight we have another one against Winton Woods, and we're going to have to go out there and we're going to have to control the things that we can control, and then hopefully make some shots, because that's what it comes down to. But it's just bouncing back and playing with a little edge on you now, because after a week like that, you got to come bounce back and show everybody that, hey man, we're a good team still. Like, we were 9-6 going into that, or 9-4. So, it's going to be a big week for us, because we can either kind of lay down and be done with it, or we can get back up and keep things rolling. So I'm excited to see what our kids are going to do.
Yeah, and it's also a potentially big week as far as postseason seeding goes. The girls team, the girls bracket has been announced. The boys bracket has not been unveiled yet. So you've got a chance now to kind of right the ship in that regard as well, and make and look better as far as the seeding goes there as well. So obviously a very, very busy week. We've covered here on the show today, a busy week coming up as well, as we're winding down here today, guys. First thing I want to know is who wins the big game on Sunday?
Wow.
Go ahead, Newt.
I hope I like the Buccaneers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Brady starts continuing to fill up the second hand.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It is. Yeah. Zach?
I hope for the Bucs, but I think Mahomes and the Cincy guy Travis Kelce might be able to get it done.
Yeah. So okay. So
what about you?
Split here. We're split here. I like the Chiefs here. I think just the speed they have, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, and also their pass rush should be able to maybe get some pressure on Tom Brady, who says he now wants to play beyond 45. So
I saw that. Yeah. Well, let me ask you the most important question, Jason.
Yeah.
What are you eating Sunday?
We're getting catered. We're getting stuff catered in. We're gonna have a few people over to our home to watch the game.
Okay.
Not too many, just some family members. We're catering in. The wife did not want to deal with any kind of cooking whatsoever.
I understand.
So we're having stuff delivered in here. So it may be a disappointment to some folks that we're not going hog wild making all the cool stuff. That's where we're at.
We talking wings, we talking, what are we?
Oh yeah. Wings. We're probably going to have barbecue catered in.
Okay.
As well. So yeah, we'll have the traditional layout there. Some various types of beverages for the folks who are allowed to partake in such.
Sure.
We'll have a little bit of that there as well. Are you cooking?
Oh my gosh, I got to tell you, I live for these days. Mama Newt is an awesome cook, and so
wait a second. You're saying Mama Newt? You live for it because Mama Newt's an awesome cook.
Oh yeah. It
has nothing to do with your ability or desire to cook. You're just looking forward to Mama Newt filling you up.
Oh gosh, yeah, I'm so excited. I don't even know if I'm gonna watch the game. I'm gonna focus on all the eating, but yeah, she does. We're like a an appetizer kind of, and our kids spoiled us. We got a deep fryer for Christmas. We got an air fryer. I don't know. We got maybe another kind of fryer. I don't know. So we're gonna try like all these things out. So I started kind of throwing some things out, and we'll have it narrowed down from 15 different appetizers, maybe to like 5. But I am so excited about Saturday.
Are you going to tweet out your address so people can come over? Because you're getting the appetites. You're getting the appetites going here. You realize that?
I'm telling you, she'll start cooking early. I mean, it's going to be. Yeah, I've already started prepping her. It needs to be a big one. And it'll just be two of us.
You've started prepping to have your gut filled by your wife.
Oh, I started, jotting things down. Yeah. Preparation.
That's a different type of pre-gaming, folks. Zach, what about you? First of all, can you thank your fiance for allowing you to use your Wi-Fi at your house, so that you can join us here today, and also the pup for saying hello there. What are the plans for the Super Bowl, and what are you planning on making, because you're not married yet and you're not going to expect that from your fiance?
No, but I definitely have kicked my coverage. So no matter what she says,
good man.
She'll still end up spoiling with me with something.
She must be sitting right next to him.
How close is she?
She can hear that. If I was
downstairs, good man. Good man. He's learning.
We'll have a good spread, but it'll just be us.
If she can hear, does she know about the beard thing?
She doesn't.
She doesn't know about that?
But I think we lost. I don't think we've had any undefeated teams since.
This is not being a team player, Zach. This is not being a team player.
Sometimes it happens.
I feel like hitting the
four-letter bad word, baby.
Newt, I feel like hitting the Price is Right music when you lose.
Yeah. Nah.
And with that, folks, we have to wrap it up because Zach has some splaining to do and Newt has some pre-gaming to do for this weekend. But nevertheless, always a fun conversation, guys. We certainly appreciate it, and we'll look forward to it a week from now.
Sounds great. Thanks, Jace. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jace. Thanks, guys.
That is Chris Newton and Zach McCormick of Anderson High School joining us for this week in Anderson High School Athletics here at ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sorts. Zach, get those toilets fixed.